Now, the deep state, the mainstream media, the D's, and everything that they've been doing with this global pandemic where they thought they were in control, well, everything's starting to boomerang on them. And Trump and the Patriots, they are in full control. They have trapped them in all of it. Remember, when Q tells us pain, they are feeling pain every single time Trump does something. When he first came into office, he removed the TPP. That was pain. When he enacted his right to secure the border, that was pain. It cut off their funding from drugs, the human trafficking, the illegals coming into this country. When he decided to call that a national emergency and build the wall, they felt pain. Everything was cut off. When he took control over the Supreme Court, they felt pain. Removing FBI, having certain individuals resign, taking federal judges and replacing the corrupt judges, draining the National Security Council. Pain, pain, pain. Removing their power structure, cartel, MS-13 gangs, removing their drug money, pain. Ending the endless wars and everything that was going on out in the Middle East, pain. Removing the funding from certain areas, abortion clinics, the WHO, pain. He's continually delivering pain over and over and over. And these people, they are panicking. He's dismantling everything that they built over time, one step at a time. When he nationalized the Fed and brought it into the Treasury, their main source of corruption, fiat currency, pain. They're feeling it. And they're panicking. We're going to be talking about all of this in a little bit. But first, let's talk about Hunter Biden here. Because he was supposed to remove himself from the board of Chinese companies. He vowed to resign from them, and he still hasn't done it. Chinese business records, the DCNF, still has Hunter Biden as the director of BHR. He also retains a 10% equity stake in BHR. He hasn't done anything because they believe they're in control. You know what? Don't do anything because it's all coming for you. We have Obama right now. He is panicking. Yes, he endorsed Biden. This is all part of the plan. He put out a little video and it says, the other side has a massive war chest. The other side has propaganda network with little regard for the truth. Think mirror. He's talking about himself, the mainstream media. What does the other side have? The Patriot side. The Patriot side has digital soldiers. His side has the mainstream media. Huge funding from money laundering. He's talking about himself and trying to project it onto Trump. He's panicking right now. He's wondering, how are we losing the fight? And he wants more done. We see the U.S. Attorney in Pittsburgh. They are now vetting Giuliani's documents on the Biden family. It's all coming down around them. Then we have Catherine Herridge. She tweeted this out. Scoop, CBS News, obtains newly declassified footnotes IG report with multiple warnings to FBI about dossier. Russian targeting, disinformation. Footnote 342, 2 persons affiliated with Russian intel were aware of Steele's election investigation in early July 2016. Now that's very interesting. 2 persons. I wonder who they could be. Veritas Vital tweeted this out. These footnotes explain more than anything why the IG report said what it did. Basically, all Horowitz could do was record the incompetence cover and establish the mistakes as fact. Durham has to break apart the cover and establish corruption. If Durham can prove that not only did they knowingly try to sabotage Trump, but they went to former Russian intel as part of the cover-up, oh boy, What do you think Durham's been doing? He's going to take the framework of the IG report and show they knowingly knew and they pushed criminal activity. Durham is going to bring in the crimes, that they knowingly knew exactly what they were doing. And that is coming soon. We're going to be discussing that a little bit later in this report. Now, we know that the D's, the deep state players, those hiding behind the curtains, they're trying to push mail-in voting. And Q told us a long time ago that voter IDs are coming. We just had to wait for the right moment. Here we are. Now it's out in the open. They knew this was going to happen. And now all the fraud and all the stuff they've been doing is going to be presented. And we can see already that things are changing. And out in Kentucky, Republican lawmakers in Kentucky have swept aside the Democratic governor's veto of a bill to require people to show a government-issued voter ID in order to vote. Votes to override Governor Andy Beshear's veto easily cleared the GOP-led Senate and House on Tuesday. The votes came as lawmakers reconvened for a wrap-up session amid the coronavirus outbreak right now. And the bill is going to require Kentucky residents to produce a photo ID when voting, with limited exceptions. That is starting in November. Now, what's very interesting is Amazon was hitting back at the Pentagon, the Defense Department, because they were giving the contracts to Microsoft. But it seems that Amazon has lost. The Defense Department's Inspector General, they dealt a blow to Amazon. After finding that the Pentagon's decision to award a $10 billion cloud computing contract to Microsoft was proper and consistent with applicable acquisition standards. What's more, the IG found no evidence that the Trump administration affected the decision over the contract, known as JEDI. We believe the evidence we received showed that the Department of Defense personnel who evaluated the contract proposal and awarded Microsoft the JEDI cloud contract were not pressured regarding their decision on the award of the contract by any Department of Defense leaders more senior to them, who may have communicated with the White House. So that whole thing, well, Amazon just lost. Now, what's very interesting is that deep state players, they continually tweet out messages. Either they're saying, let's have a false flag, or let's do something else, or they're sending messages to let everyone know what is happening. And we're seeing more and more of this. And what's very interesting is that John Podesta, he sent out a tweet. Now, in this tweet, he's talking about climate change, talking about the coronavirus. But there's a forest that is on fire, and there are individuals that are setting the fires. So is he sending a message that they need something done? Maybe. We don't know as of yet, but I'm sure the Patriots know, because we're starting to see them shut other events down. Now, what's very interesting is that with this whole coronavirus, we're starting to see the numbers decline and decline and decline. A lot of states, well, we don't need ventilators anymore. We don't need all these hospital beds. Actually, we never even have patients that would even fill any of this, or the patients that would even use ventilators. Paul Sperry tweeted this out. Breaking. Adjusted for population, U.S. COVID-19 deaths, fatalities per million, are lower than every Western European country, including Britain, Spain, Italy, and France, except for Germany. And USA's testing rate per million is higher than Britain, Spain, France, and Switzerland. States right now, they're canceling plans for extra hospitals because their doomsday predictions, they're not coming true. Where they expected, thousands of people to fill these hospitals, that they needed 30,000 ventilators. None of this is coming true. Now, what's very interesting is that we're getting reports that New York City officials are adding people to the death toll who've never tested positive for coronavirus. And they're trying to build the numbers up. And we're seeing this happen in Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Ohio, and the rest. Actually, we did have a doctor from another state saying that in his death certificate, they were telling him to put that it was COVID-19, even though it wasn't. So it seems their plan, and if we go back in time, was to hoard medical equipment, to create a panic, to create fear, to have people get sick by issuing tests that might be infected or have false positives. And when all of this didn't work, they needed to up the death tolls. And that is not working. Their whole entire plan is falling apart. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. This is post 3959. This is April 14, 2020. It gives us an old post, and it said, end POTUS rally, end POTUS economic gains, end POTUS unemployment gains, end POTUS ABCD, delay U.S.-China trade negotiations, shelter Biden, push D wish list, think about voting. Why is it critically important impeachment be rushed in the House? Because they were trying to match it up to that date where the pandemic was released. Now, Q also gave us a link to Fox News saying the State Department cables coronavirus origin Chinese lab bats. Now, the State Department, they leaked cables that renew theories on the origin of coronavirus. So why are they doing this? They're saying, maybe it wasn't from the wet market. Maybe it was from the laboratory that was in China. And down below it says, some leaks destroy the mainstream media narrative. Also, General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said it should be no surprise to you that we have taken a keen interest in that and we have a lot of intelligence to take a hard look at. I would just say at this point, it's inconclusive, although the weight of evidence seems to indicate something different. He's looking at the Wuhan laboratory. And the United Kingdom has said that the idea that the virus, which has turned into a full-blown global pandemic, was leaked from a Wuhan lab is no longer being discounted. Everything is changing. Whoa. Now, what happens when the evidence comes out that this was from the laboratory and it was leaked on purpose? And there's documentation leading to certain individuals that had their hands in this. Under this, it says, who benefits the most? The deep state. Think about everything they shut down. Think about Biden. Think about the economy. Think about the elections. Think about everything. This is why they've done it. Now, Q also gave us a Twitter link to Tom Fitton. They also shut down his Freedom of Information Act request. He says State Department Freedom of Information Act request office is also shut down due to coronavirus. We're told to wait indefinitely now on all our requests for Spygate abuses. Why did they shut this down? They're fighting for their lives. They can't get anything on Ukraine, Burisma, nothing. They're trying to shut it all down. Is this going to work? No. Let's move on to post 3960, April 14, 2020. This is Fox News once again. Ex-Clinton lawyer threatens to sue Nevada unless ballot harvesting is permitted. A prominent Democratic lawyer who represented Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign is threatening to sue the state of Nevada unless it immediately suspends prosecution for ballot harvesting before the June 9th primary, among a slew of other demands according to a letter obtained by Fox News. Now down below, it says pain and panic. Well, they're not going to get the mail-in. They're not going to get the ballot harvesting. They're doing whatever they possibly can because they know everything that they're pushing is failing right now. Post 3961. Q gives us a picture of a tweet from Trump. It says, who knows what this means, but it sounds good to me. He retweeted Dan Scavino. This is back in March 8th. It says, my next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What's Coming. Under this, Q says, you're witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. Nothing can stop this. Nothing. Post 3962. This is from The Hill. It says, Virginia governor signs legislation dropping voter restrictions. Virginia will no longer require voters to show a voter ID prior to casting ballot, and the state will join a handful of states across the nation in making Election Day a state holiday. So he's taken the holiday of Lee Jackson Day and turned it into the Election Day holiday. Under this, it says, win by any means necessary. All assets will be deployed this election. Remember, Q has already told us that they're trying to shut down all those pro-POTUS accounts. All those pro-POTUS accounts that are sleepers, they're going to all of a sudden pop up, and instead of pro, they're going to be against Trump. This has all been planned by the deep state because they have nothing else left. But throughout this whole pandemic, people have been waking up. People have been logically thinking. People have been watching the pressers. People understand what is happening. You know when you get that gut feeling before you were awake that something's wrong, that this doesn't make sense, someone's not telling me the truth? And then you start to look it up and you start to realize, well, wait a minute. The mainstream media is not telling me the truth because there are other stories, and you get confused because there's so much of it. But people have a gut feeling. They know when something's wrong. Now, Trump, during his presser yesterday, he mentioned that they're going to remove the funds from the World Health Organization. And this is very interesting. This is what he tweeted out. President Trump is halting funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess WHO's role in mismanaging the coronavirus outbreak. Now, who's panicking about this? Remember, the WHO is receiving funds where they're money laundering through the WHO and many other organizations. And who do you think is panicking right now? Nancy Pelosi. She said in a statement that she will swiftly challenge the move, calling it senseless, dangerous, and illegal. Hillary Clinton tweeted out, WHO is on the front lines of this pandemic, providing advice, training, and equipment crucial to saving lives, including Americans. Cutting their funding is not only dangerous, Trump doesn't have the authority to do it. He should know violating spending laws got him impeached. But he was vindicated. And also the impeachment was illegal. Wait until they remove and nullify the impeachment. Now think about this. Do you really think the WHO was protecting the people? Do you really think the WHO had good testing? Do you think the WHO notified everyone and shut everything down? We're going to get into that in just a minute. But first, Q's post 3963, gave us a Twitter link to Dr. Tedros of the WHO. It says, WHO and China have enjoyed a long, productive partnership. WHO is proud to have supported the overseas training of more than 2,000 Chinese health workers, grateful for China's commitment to strengthening health systems in other countries through its Belt and Road Initiative. And behind there you see a symbol. Q, and in this picture of the WHO meeting, Q gave us Britannica link to Shiva. That's what that is. And this is a statue. It's Hinduism. And Q down below says symbolism. An informed, awake public holds all the keys. Now, let's talk about the WHO for a second. By the time China contacted the WHO, the coronavirus had already been spreading within the country since at least mid-November, something Beijing has still failed to disclose. The situation was so serious that Taiwan also notified the WHO about the coronavirus in late December. Taiwan, which China has blocked from cooperating with the WHO, flagged the reality of human-to-human transmission occurring, meaning the virus had the potential to infect huge numbers of people. China had already reached the same conclusion, yet destroyed the evidence instead of reporting it. The WHO completely ignored the Taiwanese warning, choosing to trust Beijing instead. On January 14th, the agency repeated the Chinese assertion that there was no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission. It maintained this position until after January 20th, when Chinese authorities finally acknowledged that the coronavirus was spreading between humans. Had the WHO acted earlier, the coronavirus could potentially have been contained in China. Why didn't they do this? They wanted it to spread. This is why their tests were faulty. They wanted it to spread because it was a coordinated effort between the deep state, the WHO, the CDC, and those hiding behind the curtain, the invisible enemy. This was planned from the beginning. They thought they had the upper hand. Their entire plan has now failed. How do we know this? Well, Q tweeted this out. And this is a video from Fox News. This is Dr. Oz explaining the significance of South Dakota's hydroxychloroquine drug trial, letting us know that more states are now trying hydroxychloroquine. Why do you think Trump mentioned this early on? And the mainstream media, Big Pharma, the corrupt politicians, why do you think they attacked him? Because this drug does a lot more than just get rid of coronavirus. I believe it breaks down a lot of viruses, like the everyday flu. Think about it. If it's shown that this gets rid of the flu, what happens to all the flu vaccines? Gone. If this is shown to get rid of other viruses, what happens? If this is shown to get rid of like Lyme disease or Ebola and the rest, what happens? Why do you think they're panicking right now? How is Trump, his administration, how are they going to announce this to the world? Well, below this it says, be informed. And then it says, Boris. Remember Boris was brought into intensive care? And then a day or two later, he was feeling better? And now pretty much he's all better? Think for yourself. Trust yourself. I wonder if there's going to be an announcement that Boris Johnson took hydroxychloroquine. Now, what's very interesting, if we take this a step further, Julian's Rum tweeted out a map. And the map on the left shows number of COVID-19 cases per capita. And this is all the places where COVID-19 is happening. The map on the right shows countries with high rates of malaria where hydroxychloroquine are commonly prescribed to fight it. And if you notice how countries with high malaria rate, they seem to be least affected by COVID. This is not a coincidence. Actually, they have hardly any cases. Why? Because they already have that in their system. Trump knew this from the very beginning. Post 3965. And Anon says, I am same as you, Q. I have to go to tour. Are we under attack? Q says always. So 8kun, this is the board where Q posts, is under attack. And many Anons, they switch to the Tor network. It's a Tor piece of software browser that you can download. It brings up different IPs. It masks who you are. And this is completely open source software. And it's anonymous communication. And a lot of Anons use this to access the boards. Post 3966. And Anon says you have to sense the tension building, Q. It's becoming a tinderbox. Q says, imagine if we weren't here. While difficult, it is important to understand this must be done by the book. Average people must be able to digest and accept, this is in brackets and bold, factually, events. FISA lead in. Stage 1, Act 1, brackets bold. Bad actors had to be removed. Good actors had to be installed. Sleepers had to be uncovered. We are ready. Think bar public. Now, we mentioned this many times before. This is not a coincidence. They're setting the stage. And actually, Q says, Stage 1, Act 1. We are ready. Trump has the control. You can see it in his pressers. He now has another level of confidence where he's going after these individuals. Actually, he made a remark today about adjourning Congress. Think about that for a second. Post 3967 shows a picture of the American flag and the sun coming up, and it looks like a cross. Down below it says, just like Q and Q+, put on that armor of God, patriots. Keep praying. In the end, God wins. Where we go one, we go all. Below this it says, these people are pure evil. This is not about politics. You are ready. We are now ready. Post 3968. And Anon says, I suspect there are still a ton of sleepers, R.E. Paul, Ryan, etc. Below this, Q says, do you think it was Paul Ryan's choice to step down? Rising star in the Republican Party? Speaker of the House? Age? And I think when he stepped down, he was like 48, 49. Do you really think it was time for him to retire? No. Do you think it was Senator Flake's choice to step down? No. And under this, it gives us 11 dots. Now, what's very interesting is that Paul Ryan was one of the recipients of the Steele dossier before published. And Ryan's team denied this. Flake was the Arizona roadblock for the border wall. Now, once again, this individual Flake, did he have anything to do with drugs, weapons, trafficking? Maybe. But this wasn't a coincidence. They were forced out. Post 3969. And Anon puts up a Q proof. And it says proofs are important. Q. Q is letting us know right now that we are far beyond the need for proofs. We have more than you know. Durham is the start. Q up. Start. 5 by 5. Q is letting us know it has begun. They're bringing out the drips with the lying indictments. And it will just move from there into FISA and everything else. The storm is about to hit them hard. And I noticed that Trump is saying it was hit like a hammer. It's like a hammer coming down, letting us know the hammer is coming down. Post 3970. And Anon says, when will our voice and vote matter again, Q? Q says, it does now, Patriot. More than ever. Think 2016, think 2020, think of the world awakening. Yes, the world is awakening. The noise has been removed. People are not going on trains, buses, in traffic like herds of sheep. They're sitting home individually. They have the noise. It's no longer around them. They're watching the pressers. They're learning the truth. They're thinking now. It's changing. Let's move on to post 3971. And it says, ... and frogs to destroy them. So think of the world awakening and frogs to destroy them. Who are the frogs? Those are the Anons, all the people that are awake, that are doing research, those people that are listening. We are the digital soldiers, all the people that tweet out, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube. The frogs will destroy them. This is why Obama is panicking, because they have the war chest, they have the mainstream media, and they can't fight off the digital soldier. Now, very interestingly, in New York, police have thwarted a plot to blow up Central Park's famous Alice in Wonderland statue. Now, that is very interesting. This individual, 30 years old, Kevin Fallon, he decided that he was going to blow up this statue. Now, remember, Q has told us about Alice, which is Hillary Clinton, Wonderland, which is Saudi Arabia, White Rabbits, and so forth. And an individual was going to blow this up. Interesting. And I want to leave with the following tweet from the U.S. Army. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life. More comms. Trump, the Patriots, they are making the deep state feel pain every single day. And the hammer is about to fall, and the pain that's coming, it will be excruciating. We have Barr and Durham, the Punishers. They are ready, they are primed,